then from the past, Bobby Lutz, the partner of Stan Smith in the great doubles team for American Davis Cup play. Connors beat Lutz 4-3. And in the quarterfinals yesterday against the big serving Tim Mayotte, he beat him by the astounding scores, Al, 6-2, 6-1. He really dominated that match.
No one ever loses to Billy Bye, do they?
He has never won a match.
On the other side of the net from Jimmy Connors is the human backboard, the metronome. Jose Higueras, 5'10", 165, 30 years old, from Barcelona, Spain. But not too long ago, he was in the Palm Springs area. The mayor's daughter gave him a guided tour, and they fell in love. And now Jose Higueras has a home here in Palm Springs, California. In this area, we are more specifically in La Quinta. Jose Higueras on the Atari ATP computer, probably the quietest member of the top 10. He is number 7.
He holds 14 career titles, Al, but he just won the ATP Sportsmanship of the Year award in January at the ATP banquet, and that was voted by his fellow players. He's a very, very popular competitor.
And the road to the semifinals for the defending champion here at La Quinta, Jose Higueras, is this.
Again, he played first round bye he received. Then he beat Casio Mata from South America, 6-3 in the third. Then John Lloyd, 6-4, 6-3 in the third round. John Lloyd playing well again, Chrissy's husband. And in the quarterfinals, he beat the youngster Scott Davis from Stanford, who's come on like gangbusters in the last 6 months to play so well. Davis is a newcomer. Watch for him, but Higueras handled him quite easily on this court. 6-1, 6-3 yesterday in the quarterfinals.
All right, we're standing by for Jimmy Connors, Jose Higueras, the semifinals of the 1984 Congolian Classic. But first, these messages on USA from your local cable systems. They played 7 times before. Last time they met on the Grand Prix was at the '82 French Open when Higueras outlasted Jimmy Connors straight sets, 2-2 and 2. But we saw them more recently.
Actually, Al, in that match in the French Open, Higueras really dominated Jimmy. I saw the match a year ago, and it was a slaughter. He just kept every ball in play, and Jimmy made some errors. They last played, however, in the European Champions Championship in Antwerp, which we brought you on USA Network in mid-November, and Higueras upset Connors there in 3 sets indoors. That was a surprise. Connors had match point in the second set, lost at 7-5, and Higueras rolled over him 6-2 in the third set. So I suspect Connors hates to lose to one player twice in a row. So I think you're going to see a very competitive match here.
We are surrounded by the beautiful Santa Rosa Mountains, and probably the most dramatic thing about the mountains is the way the colors change as the days go on. In the morning, it's one color. We had a full moon this morning, and it was really beautiful. And then in the afternoon, they become burnt orange, almost iridescent. It's quite a backdrop. Higueras to serve.
The wind, as we said earlier, will be a factor if it gets really blowy down there.
Higueras will start off with a vest. It's quite warm at courtside, but a little chilly when the breezes kick up. It's about 75 in the daytime, and last night it dropped to about 40. That's the desert for you. I'm sure you've read many times that Jimmy Connors last year kissed away his T2000, but it didn't last very long. He's still using it. The Wilson T2000. He's had it since the early 70s when he won his first Wimbledon.
Higueras, as the players call him, the human backboard. He doesn't make careless errors. This surface, you would think, would favor Connors, certainly over a slower clay court. 40 love, first game of the match.
Higueras has let 2 points go the other way.
Higueras has a very unusual, look how he brings his right arm back. He kind of, we'll get that again for you. It's a really unusual little hitch in his right swing. Very deliberate. He brings it straight up. Doesn't bring it back. See, he comes straight up and then out. And actually that hurts Al, his ability to snap his wrist and get more power into the serve. He hits a little slice serve more than a flat serve. Part of it's his swing. Fault call. I think Connors thought it was good. Second serve. Tremendous baseline rally. Connors hit 3 good shots, and Higueras ran them all down. The patience of Job is Higueras.
So Jose Higueras holds on to take the first game as we continue from beautiful Southern California. Greta Garber once owned a piece of this hotel. Dropping the first game as Higueras held serve. Will get his first chance.
Connors has not been beaten this week at all in any of his sets. Won 36 of 58 games and has been very confident. 6-2, 6-1 yesterday in the quarterfinals.
I think that inside, outside, twisting backhand from Connors confused Higueras a little bit.
Good shot to watch in these rallies is how Connors handles the forehand from the baseline. When he hits topspin on it, no problem, but when he doesn't get under the ball and roll it, he will occasionally err off the forehand. So we'll try to watch that. We can get it a little later for you in slow motion. That forehand of Connors from the baseline. That's his one weakness. And that, Al, is the way that Jimmy ought to try to attack Higueras and come in more often. Watch the first serve of Jimmy Connors. Notice the little foot back to the heel, and he slaps the foot down on the cement, spins it, steps inside the court. That's a little American twist on his first serve, not a flat serve.
Y'all. Now, Donald, you have to almost tie a rope around Higueras' neck and yank him to the net to get him there. How does that change the game that Connors has to play?
Well, Jimmy's got to be very patient. He's got to keep the ball deep, not make errors, but still always think attack, attack when he can. Much rather try to come in and beat Higueras on a good deep shot than just rally. Because that's what Higueras loves, just to make you rally from the baseline. Now right there, perfect play. Good shot by Jimmy, 2 inches out. Higueras wins the point. That kills you on a percentage basis over a long haul.
Early in the match, as Donald said, Connors knowing he's got to keep the ball deep. Maybe he's just trying to find the rhythm, find the right motion to get that ball consistently along the baseline. Break point to the Spaniard.
Now see, there's a perfect approach by Jimmy. Kept it low and deep. And we're deuce.
This is called a Super Series event on the $18 million Volvo Grand Prix Tour. Total prize money $255,000, and the eventual singles champion will get a check for $34,000. Not quite enough to buy a condominium here, but pretty close.
Good save by Higueras. Now watch, Connors comes in quickly. He doesn't put that away. Higueras scoops it down the line. Jimmy's slow, moving to his left. Didn't get his racket out quick enough, move his feet. And we're at deuce. Second game of the match. Higueras won the first.
Donald, from down here, it's interesting. It's very calm again, and yet every once in a while that wind will start right in the middle of the point, and it's coming from Connor's back, so very difficult to play when that wind comes up in the middle of the point.
Barry, is it warm at all? Is Higueras or Jimmy sweating?
Not at all. It's very dry and not really that hot.
Back at deuce.
That's a big point for Jimmy to miss. He had the setup volley, came in, tried to close out the point, and hit it wide. Watch Jimmy on the overhead, sets up nicely, uses that right arm well to set up the ball, just like his serve, then comes back into the court after making contact.
That ball moved a lot up there too, Donald. The wind caught it up high. It wasn't that easy a shot.
He seemed a little tentative when he hit that overhead because it was bouncing around and coming down. Connor's coming in on every short ball, trying to force the play.
It was a struggle, but Connors prevailed. We are 1-all in the opening set. One thing we anticipate here is the attendance of celebrities other than Barry McKay and Donald Dell. And on Celebrity Watch at courtside is Barry McKay. Have you spied anybody yet, Barry?
Well, I've seen Tony Trabert hanging up close to the bar. In fact, he's up there right now talking to Pancho Gonzalez. So there's a couple good tennis names to start with, Al.
Interesting. Tony Trabert was formally honored here, and this year Pancho Gonzalez is being honored at the Congolian Classic. That has become a tradition to honor some of the past tennis greats. Gonzalez most famous for being ranked #1 for 8 consecutive years from 1953 to 61. Jose Higueras realizing that his abilities are not quite up to that of the #3 player in the world, Jimmy Connors. He's so soft-spoken and honest.
I'm not sure I agree with that quote. I would add, depending on surface, because on a clay court, Higueras is almost tougher than Jimmy on the surface. Connors will beat him on different surfaces, but Higueras is tough on clay. Smart play. Now Higueras sneaks into the net.
We mentioned different surfaces. La Quinta is one of the few spots. We'll finish that in a moment.
Watch here, because he pulls him wide with that first serve and then volleys behind Jimmy. Smart play.
A lot of power on that topspin forehand. And Higueras winning that game a lot more easily than he took his initial service attempt. As we continue live from beautiful sunny Southern California.
La Quinta Hotel and Tennis Club in La Quinta, California. I'm Al Troutwig along with Donald Dell and Barry McKay, and we don't have far to go in our commute to work in these 2 days, that's for sure. The expensive European cars continue to stream into the parking lot here at La Quinta, and the crowd is really piling in on each and every changeover. Connors serving 1-2. We're on serve.
Remember, Higueras is a popular figure here in Palm Springs. Won this title last year, beating Elliott Telcher in the final. Telcher had a great win over Noah in the semis. Jimmy Connors won this tournament in 1981.
Higueras had a lot of trouble with his elbow last year, but all the protective coverings are gone. He seems to have recovered from that. You mentioned the different surfaces and how that can affect these two players. This is one of the few resorts that has all the surfaces, hardcourt, clay, and grass. What a great place this would be to have an all-surface tournament one day. A lot of players, 3 or 4 hits like that, and their concentration would waver. Higueras, though, he doesn't seem to ever drop his guard.
Ball was long.
Gene Herrick in the chair sides with the linesman. The ball was long.
That doesn't come in that fast, you know.
Connors is saying that's my serve doesn't come in that fast. In other words, take a long look.
Game Connors.
Connors holds serve. A love game for him. We are 2-all. Connors one of 2
Games are 2-all.
Davis Cuppers in the semifinals here. Jimmy Arias being the other. And boy, doesn't that make a strong statement about how our Davis Cuppers are going into their opening round tie with Romania next week.
Well, Arias probably won't even play singles with obviously Connors and McEnroe, the 2 top players for America. Peter Fleming will play the doubles with John McEnroe, but it's really nice comfort to have an Arias type backup player because he's so talented. We're at 2-all. Semifinals, the Condolium Classic from La Quinta.
Quiet, please.
Condolium has been an outstanding sponsor of tennis over the years. They first sponsored the Davis Cup.
15 love.
Jimmy has a habit there of straightening his strings when he mishits a ball. all, 15 all, match dead even. Crowd still filling up. It's early here in La Quinta. 11:35 in the morning. And there Higueras, you see, was a quarterfinalist in Madison Square Garden at the Volvo Masters a month ago.
On a strange surface for him, indoor Supreme Court.
Ace. And that's a surprise.
Well, get a good look at that. You won't see that too often.
Watch Higueras, because he cocks his wrist there, snaps the flat serve down the line. Jimmy a little slow moving, and the ball slides by him.
Ace number 1 against one of the great return servers of all time. Higueras serving at 30-15. Games are 2 all. Opening set just underway. Another match coming up later. Jimmy Arias, Yannick Noah.
Good. Higueras thought it was going to go wide. It dropped on the line. See this again. That forehand topspin, keeping it cross court. Jimmy catching early, nails it right on the line. Great depth.
You know, another great thing about this center court you guys have maybe mentioned is that the background is fantastic. You got about 12 feet up there behind. You see Connors walking towards the court, but there's a great backdrop. And so you really aren't bothered by those people in the stands until they're up about 12 feet. Wonderful conditions, sight-wise.
It's really hard to believe, looking at the skies today, that back in 1980, they never got past the semifinals. Connors, Brian Teacher, Peter Fleming, and Gene Mayer all made it to that point, but then just awful weather.
Rain for 4 straight days, Al. They had a rain day on Monday and they never even got through the semis.
Yes, sir.
40-30 to Higueras, 2 all. Double fault. That one hurts on a add point. Worst time to double fault, if you're going to, is just right then.
As I mentioned, we have Arias and Noah coming up, and how much you want to bet we see some between the legs shooting in that semifinal.
They're both great athletes, very acrobatic. That'll be an outstanding struggle.
Jimmy now is waiting for
Cameraman.
he's right behind the court.
What's Jimmy asking down there?
Well,
Move our cameraman?
Yeah, our guy moved right behind Jose, virtually behind him. He's got a white shirt on, so that was a normal request because you need some dark background back there.
comes Higueras. Keeps that ball deep. Connors moving around pretty good there. Higueras on the dead run, missed that forehand. There's that little habit of Jimmy, straightening his strings. That's really just a nervous habit to relax. Keeps his mind occupied between points. And it's a break point to Jimmy.
Connors, 31 years old, and on March 1st, Jose Higueras will be 31 too. Some long games in this match already.
And Jimmy, look, the two-handed backhand leans into it, stands up straight. Higueras off the right foot with the looping forehand. Here comes Connors. Now that's a follow-through over his left shoulder, right shoulder. Pretty good topspin by Jimmy there. The cameraman is moving around behind Higueras from side to side, and that's bothering Jimmy at the other end. Jose Higueras, born in Barcelona, played Davis Cup for Spain many years, now resides in Palm Springs with his wife Donna, who's expecting their second child in 2 weeks. Just long, about 3 inches.
Break point for Jimmy.
And Jimmy took a chance there, Al, when he caught that ball like that. If the linesman hadn't called it out, he'd have lost the point. Third break point to Connors. And again, Connors attacking, leading the play, but missing. We have the advantage of looking out over this court into the parking lot because we're very high up and the crowd continues to stream in. They hold them until the odd changeover. But I think we're going to have nearly a full house by the end of the set here, Al. We're early in California. It's started at 11 o'clock. And it's a slow-moving town. That's an unusual error by Higueras. He didn't make those very often.
I'm getting the feeling we're going to be watching these two play for a while. Harris taking his time.
That's his second racket, incidentally. Tommy Tucker took the first one out of the game change. Higueras' handle, the grip started to come off. So that racket that Higueras is using is the second that he's used during the match.
Double fault on a game point. That's unusual.
3-2.
And Connors will take it, though. 3-2. That's a fabulous play by Connors and a great recovery by Higueras. Very smart drop shot off the backhand side. We'll see it again here. Look at that. Suddenly the ball dies. Higueras makes a great recovery, though, and Jimmy's right there with the swoop. The left arm ready, and he moves well to his left. He's starting to find a lot of rhythm out there now, getting some timing on his ground strokes. That will spell trouble for Higueras. 3-2, 15 love. Again, Jimmy penetrating, pushing, attacking. First set, Connors 77% serves in, Higueras only 62%. Both quite good. We mentioned that Connors won Memphis last year, last week rather, beating LeConte there in the finals of the U.S. National Indoor Championships.
To say that he owns that tournament is an understatement.
7 times the winner there.
30-15.
Broke all modern day records for that title.
One thing Jimmy Connors will do this week, he will really enhance his stature on the computer. Last year he dropped out of this tournament losing to Mike Bauer in the second round, and the way the computer is structured, your comparison to last year in a given tournament is what really helps you out. So Connors now reaching at least the semifinals and maybe the finals, depending here, will gain some points.
That will move him certainly out into the number 2 spot on that computer, and it may move him further. It's a very good point because he lost in the first round last year. A big upset to Mike Bauer.
What do you think about the computer in that light? I certainly have a problem with comparing a player's appearance at a tournament this year over last year. I mean, last year's field could have been, I'm not talking about for Connors, but for another player. Last year's field could have been a lot better. This year it could have been weaker. Not that that's the case. So how can you compare one tournament to another from year to year?
You got to explain the computer, Alice. You're not comparing tournaments. You're comparing number of weeks, quality of field. In other words, the computer is 12 tournaments minimum. They divide by, if you play 15, you play 18. You divide by that number. Let cord there. Late call. But it's really the quality of field. You get bonuses and extra points depending on the amount of prize money, the number of top-ranked players in the draw. The only thing it's really comparing is that every week they take a tournament off as the 12-month period goes by, and they add one. That's the only reason you're really comparing this event to last year's event. But it really, I think, is a fair system. You have to understand it, though. It's fairly complicated, and it's hard to explain. Out called.
There's a movement now. I know Mike Estep, Martina Navratilova's coach, and a touring pro, is involved in changing some of the ways the computer handles the rankings.
Well, the Women's Association, for example, WTA, has an entirely different kind of computer. They count all matches. This computer, the players, men players at ATP, only counts major tournaments, Grand Prix tournaments, not exhibitions, not Davis Cup. WTA and the women's side does it a little more broadly, all events.
Game point for Connors.
Out.
He's got it, and he leads 4-2.
Al, an interesting thing happened there at deuce in that game. Connors served his first serve. It was a let. It wasn't called by the let court judge. Higueras called it, and all of a sudden we're playing the first ball, which was really good sportsmanship on both players' part. You don't see that too often anymore.
Well, we've got the Sportsman of the Year over there, Barry, Jose Higueras, and that was a vote from the players.
Well, Jimmy could have objected too, because Higueras basically heard the let and called it, and Connors went right back and said, okay, let's play two.
Connors has a lot of respect for Higueras, both as a person and a player.
15
he didn't.
Now, Connor's a little annoyed there with this play because he had the court open up and he played the ball short, which let Higueras run it back. Got a good shot there. Now look at this short forehand. Jimmy could go either way. Look at how the depth there. Way too short. Hit the service line, and that gave Higueras enough time to pass him. 2-4, 30 love, first set. Remember, Higueras, the defending champion, would like to repeat. Toughest guy for him to beat will be Jimmy Connors of the remaining four because of their style of play. Double fault. Missed the toss there. Ricocheted off the face of his racket.
He's also looking right up into that sun we talked about earlier. That's a tough toss from down there because the sun is right in his eyes.
Third double fault for Jose. Best 2 out of 3 sets. Arias, Noah coming up after this. Set your watch by, and then Connors explodes with one from the baseline.
Watch him moving Higueras around with this two-handed backhand. He catches it early, scoops at it with that big shoulder rotation, and he hits a winner. Secret to Connors' two-handed backhand is his footwork and his shoulder rotation. The two hands just merely gets the racket in play quickly and lets him lean into the shot.
Higueras to the net.
But he opened that court up nicely with that first serve. He slid him wide. Now watch on this replay. And watching Jimmy. He's ready. Goes way out. And look at him turn all the way around. Pushes off. But Higueras has closed the gap by coming to the net. Connors running with the forehand grip. Too late. .40-30.
Ticked it himself. He dropped his racket lunging for the volley attempt and just left it there and stalked away. Higueras still alive as the first set moves on here in La Quinta. Jimmy Connors leading the Spaniard 4 games to 3.
Executive Vice President of Landmark Corporation. This resort has been built by Landmark. Runs the golf club here and the whole operations. And he was a very good player on the PGA Tour. And he's something else. Ernie Bosser. You'll be hearing a lot more about Landmark with golf and tennis around the country.
When you stop at a red light here, sometimes you see a golf cart go across the road. Some of them have AM, FM stereos and so forth. Connors serving now. 4-3, first set. Semifinals of the 1984 Congolian Classic.
Allow 15. Off.
Took him a while in this very, very dry air in La Quinta to work up a sweat, but slowly these players are doing just that.
Startling figure here from our statistician. We've had 13 backhand errors from Higueras. I hardly believe that. It's only 7 games. It's about 2 a game. Ball was called out. Connors missing it by an inch. Now watch the sky hook right here. The shot Connors goes over his shoulder. Higueras saves it. And Jimmy sets up the forehand coming down the line, and it's just wide. .30 all. Connors unhappy, taking a lot of time here. We've been at 40-15 had he made that shot. Goes back to towel off. Remember, he has 30 seconds between rallies, and he's taking the full count. Again. Oh, those 2 close calls back to back.
Jose staring up the line. He thought that ball was good. Now when he starts to complain.
See if we can watch it again. Jimmy gets that short ball, pounds it. Higueras loops it down the line, and it hits. Looks awfully close to the edge of that line from up here.
I saw the ball is called.
He asked Gene Herrick, did you see the ball? And Herrick said, I saw it as called, which means it will be called out. Chair umpire there, Gene Herrick.
Let's play, gentlemen.
The deuce. Donald, would you say Higueras has reached his peak as far as high as he's going to go?
I don't think so. He's still only 30 years of age and very tough competitively. Now Connors there misses that forehand. He's a little bit mad at himself there because he was careless. He didn't get under that ball. He just kind of slid at it, shoulder height. A little careless. No, I think Higueras will keep improving. I really do. He's got to get a bigger weapon. He's got to get a first serve that can hurt you. That ball's right on the line. Took a bad skid, which threw off Higueras' timing. Statistician today, Kathy Andriadis. Compliments of the Volvo Grand Prix. We're using her statistics from time to time.
It's her debut today on USA Sports.
This is a big play for Connors. Break point, rather. Let first serve.
Higueras mumbling a little bit. Barry McKay.
Well, he looked over.
Bad or indifferent or how?
They've got a little Gene Herrick, Jose looked over and said, you know, if the ball hits behind the line, that means it's out.
Connors says to the referee, good, bad, or indifferent? The referee says take 2.
Had some close calls on the last few points.
And remember, this is game point to Jimmy for 5-3, a big one.
Here he comes. Connors so mad at himself, he wanted to slam the ball into the wall and then held up at the last minute. At deuce again. The stands here. La Quinta just about full.
Seating here is 7,200, and I'd say we're close to 6,500 filled up so far. A few seats left. Quite a shot. Connors catching the ball early on that favorite side. Now watch the looping rally here. He pounds it cross court. Higueras goes back the same spot. Jimmy catches it early, and you see a beautiful winner there. Now watch the Connors two-hander. Leans into the shot, really throws himself at the ball. And that's one of the reasons he likes that metal racket. The ball flicks off that like a slingshot, and he gets a certain body weight and a body balance into the shot. Really uses it well. Third game point to Connors.
Looking like McEnroe at the net.
Similar shot, the little touch volley. We'll see it here on game point. He pounds it deep. Higueras tries the roll, and look at Connors. A stop volley behind Higueras, beautifully angled. That's an unusual shot for Jimmy.
Also, Donald, that's the one thing that I've seen from down here that he hasn't been doing real well is moving to his left. And all of a sudden on that point he anticipated. He moved over there very quickly. But up till then, he'd been missing some balls off that left-hand side.
Higueras visibly disturbed, serving at 3-5. And now second serve.
She is the wife of Jimmy Connors. The VS hat, sunglasses. She never shows much emotion, watches every match, but is very careful in her emotions. Now Connors is starting to hit winners on those short floaters. Gets the ball in close, high. He goes for the shot. It's a tough shot here. Higueras has the looper with topspin, but it's short on the service line. And Jimmy attacking with the two-hander goes and angles it wide. 15 all. Smart serve by Higueras there. Slid him wide with a slice. Remember the game score 3-5. First set 30-15. Again attacking when he gets that short ball. makes a running volley there on the forehand side to open up the court. The second shot, easy. Just block that second ball into the open court. 30 all. That's a big chance, and Connors misses the drop shot. Would have caught Higueras way on the baseline. Dangerous shot. Now watch the footwork of Connors. Leans way out in the doubles alley, makes the return, steps around. Now watch the shot here. Suddenly goes for the spin, the drop shot, and he misses it. Hits the net.
Body English meant anything, that one was.
Ace.
Gone over the baseline. Higueras acing Connors. Still within a game. Connors leads 5 games to 4. We're live at the side today. Frank Sinatra's wife sitting in her husband box at courtside. Barbara Sinatra. Jimmy Connors to serve. 5 games to 4 first set.
Connors wants to close out this set. No fooling around. That's what he's thinking. Higueras looking for a couple of errors, and there's one.
Love 15.
That means Jimmy didn't feel he got down low enough to the shot. Stood straight up, and he bunts it into the net. Love 15.
He ridiculed his own first serve before, Donald, and admittedly it's not his most powerful weapon. How has he been able to win as much as he has without that big weapon?
Consistency and great competitiveness. He doesn't play bad matches, very rarely. In fact, the worst match I've seen Jimmy play in about 3 years was in the first round last year of this tournament against Mike Bauer. He doesn't lose in the first round very often.
I'll vote for the Wembley final last November. Some data processing for you for the serves of these two. Connors way up there.
82%. That's awfully good for one set. Higueras at 61 isn't bad. The ace is 2 to Higueras, but 3 double faults. 61% is pretty darn good. 82% is phenomenal. But it's still only 5-4. 15 all, first set.
Donald, don't you think on that forehand of Jimmy's the one thing, he really doesn't have what you call a lot of margin for error. If he doesn't hit the ball just right, he's going to net the thing. He doesn't give himself much room over that net. He's about an inch over that net if it comes over.
Barry, the problem is he hits it too flat. When he comes under it with topspin, he doesn't seem to have any problem.
Yep.
When he tries to hit it flat or slide it in as he comes down, you know, approaching the net, he kind of slides it, and a lot of times it hits the net. That is his only outstanding weakness that we talk about a lot. It's all relative. And this is a giant point for both players. 5-4, 30 all, first set. It will set the pattern of the match. It was a bad error by Higueras. First serve by Jimmy, but not too tough. Set point. So we have 3 former champions in the semifinals. Connors 81, Noah 82, Higueras 83. Higueras' ball. Jimmy did not move his feet. Came in right into his stomach. And he didn't move to meet it.
Once again, set point to Jimmy Connors as a frustrated Higueras watches that ball hit the tape and drop on his side of the court. I was in St. Louis last week, and I crossed over the bridge that spans the Mississippi River into Illinois, where Jimmy Connors' father used to be a toll taker.
To Belleville?
To Belleville. Set point again.
Coach Gloria Connors and his brother Johnny are probably watching this match at home. Gloria Connors has taught her son well for many, many years. Set point.
That slim margin of error that Barry and Donald were hinting at a few moments ago. Look at it again.
Connors opening the court up nicely there. Comes in quickly behind it. The ball is too low. Now that was a volley. That wasn't an approach shot, but that's a heck of a shot that Higueras made from a tough position. Connors way down. Cannot scoop it over the net.
You mentioned his mom. She'd have a tough time calling him here in La Quinta. Windy day a few days ago knocked the phone lines out, and the phones don't work.
No calls in or out. It's a nice vacation here.
Boy, that must be tough for you.
The creditors can't reach Al. Got to rest this weekend. Out. Higueras' patience is paying off.
Break point to Jose. What a big point this is now. Most important of the match. Higueras could square it off at 5-all. That was close.
That hurt too.
Oohs and ahs and derogatory whistles from the crowd. Barry?
It's interesting, Al. Jimmy looked over right away and motioned to Higueras. It definitely was out. He saw it long. Very close call. But the minute Jose saw Jimmy saying that the ball was long, he walked over and was ready for the next point.
Well, once you've established the feeling of respect between the two players that these two certainly have, you have to go with the guy on the other side of the net. You know he's not going to lie to you. Except if you're playing Donald Dell, maybe.
Reduce 4-5. 5 for the Connors. Tries the softball. And he gets away with it. Real bad error there by Higueras. Lost his concentration.
Threw him a changeup, I guess you could say.
Slow floater. Boy, he didn't expect that error. Third set point to James Scott Connors. No one has dominated American tennis like he has over the past 10 years. Fault call. Hurt at all by that approach shot. Jimmy didn't even sting him. Here he comes. You'll see the second shot. He gets the forehand short, but his return is too short, and Higueras is waiting for it.
Needed a perfect passing shot, and he got it. Higueras, the winner of 2 titles last year, one of them right here at La Quinta over Elliott Telcher in the final. Back once again to a crucial point for Jose Higueras. His advantage, his break point, and a big one.
Real careless error. Unexplained that one. Unless Higueras just got a little nervous, which could happen.
Quiet, please.
Connor's unlucky there. He didn't put that first volley away, and Higueras was great on the second play. He tries a shot here. Now Higueras dinks him. He just slices it wide. Jimmy gets under it, but does not do much with it. And there Higueras slides him wide again with a dink shot. Totally crossing Connors up.
Third break point for Jose Higueras.
Connors has lost serve.
Well, for many moments in the first set, it looked as though Jimmy Connors was going to jump out in front and keep on going. Not so against this patient man, Jose Higueras.
Wait for the odd game change, if you will.
5-all. First set. We're live at the La Quinta Hotel and Tennis Club in La Quinta, California. Not too far from Palm Springs, not too far from LA. Surrounded by the Santa Rosa Mountains. First set moves on. We'll be back live on USA Sports tomorrow, 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 on the West Coast for the finals.
15 love.
Who will we see there? Jimmy Connors or Jose Higueras?
Higueras very much back in this match now. Connors a little disgusted and impatient. Have to collect himself. That's what Higueras does to you. He wears you down mentally.
30 love.
30 love. Very important moment now.
This guy Higueras is the patience of a saint. Nothing flusters him, nothing tires him. Once played 5.5 hours in the finals of Hamburg.
And
Longest
pre-record.
match, yeah. There's another error rippling off the racket of Connors, and he's down 40 love.
Actually, Jose played a match that was longer than that. 59 days. North Conway 2 years ago, his final with Lendl was rained out. 59 days later, he returned there, and they finished the match in 7 minutes. Higueras was a loser.
It's wide.
14-15.
He seemed a little confused focused on that shot, Donald. He seemed like, well, I should go into the net. Maybe not. And then he hesitated.
Connors, actually what happened, he took his eye off the ball a little bit, slapped it wide. Connors stopped running for it. He had conceded the point, and he was willing to give up the game, and Higueras misses it. Now he overhits, going for the line.
It's twice in a row. 40-30.
5 hours and 6 minutes. Finals of Hamburg, the German championships, was Jose Higueras battling, and he won that match. Beat Peter McNamara, the Australian, in that long struggle. But a good call. Out call. And Higueras is held.
Well, what better way to follow up a service break than to hold your own serve? That's what Jose Higueras has done. He's only about 15 minutes from his home.
Connors serving now to get into the tiebreaker.
Now he's got to get back in this match, Donald. He made a lot of uncharacteristic errors in the last couple of games.
They lost 3 set points. 3 set points, which really bothers him. Now trailing 5-6. The crowd is still piling in and it's just about sold out. Here we go, 5-6, first set.
Love.
It's, of course, only one of the few stops on the Grand Prix Tour and on the special event run that we make on USA Sports and bringing you what we think is a pretty darn good tennis schedule every year. Well, this past week, maybe you saw the headlines, maybe you didn't. We're at it again. We have now added a very big jewel to our tennis crown this year, and we'll be telling you about that in between matches today.
Oh, brother. Somebody made a smart crack from the stands. Jimmy was trying to fix this shorts, and he responded equally smartly. He's not happy right now. And he hits a winner, exploding the backhand. And now he's a little feisty, a little angry, and that's when he's the toughest, when he gets angry. There he splits the line. Now watch Connors from the baseline. We isolate on him. That high follow-through over his right shoulder, always bouncing, always bouncing. Now he leans into this one. Perfect follow-through, very high. And he's hit a winner. Connors is trying to fix his pants over there, and he's kibitzing with the people in the front row boxes.
He's holding court.
There's his wife, Patty.
I've got it on backwards.
Patty laughing. Jimmy is talking about his athletic supporter, as Barry McKay would say.
Of which there are many here today, about 7,200 to be exact.
Thirty love. And he misses. Miss hit.
Barry McKay, we haven't heard from you for a while. What about this match? What do you think?
For one thing, Al, it's about 10 degrees hotter down here than when the boys started, which could affect both players, obviously, but at the moment, I'd say Connors is missing a lot of balls that he didn't miss earlier. He's not as consistent, and yet Higueras is doing the same thing. The quality is not as good right now as it was, let's say, 3 or 4 games ago.
Just wide.
40-15.
40-15. Connors trying to get to the tiebreaker. That would be a big, big opportunity. You better not get careless because Higueras is so competitive and patient.
Play the tiebreaker. Jose will serve 1. And over to Connors for 2, and then back and forth.
2 serves each time thereafter. Remember, to win this tiebreaker, you must be the first to win 7 points by a margin of 2, and the set is yours. We now have over 7,000 people in this stadium. It is packed, and they're still lining up outside. Wins the first point. That's a nice, comforting opening.
His first Volvo Grand Prix event of the year. What better place to begin than right at home? Connors serving 2. Needed the passing shot, and he found it on his racket.
Connors a little unlucky here with the let cord. He should have cut that ball off, but it scooted by him, and Higueras nails the second one down the line. 0-2. Remember, first to 7 wins it. Higueras would have been wrong-footed there, but it was a let. Court up nicely and hits for the winner. 2-1 to Higueras. Barry McKay. Is the wind coming behind Higueras on this side of the court? Watching the replay, Higueras gets a lot of depth from this side, and I'm wondering about the wind.
It's not that bad down here right now, Donald. It really isn't. It may be up where you guys are, but at courtside, right now it's kind of coming on. But during that point, it was very calm.
1-2-1. Higueras has the mini break in the tiebreaker.
showing up where we are. Connors gets the mini break back.
And now he takes a lot of time toweling off to slow down Higueras, who's a little bit more anxious to play.
Higueras.
3-2. We're on serve in the tiebreaker.
And there's Jimmy Arias, the red on your left, with Tommy Tucker, the head pro at Mission Hills, on your right.
Jimmy Arias will be on this court in a little while when these two decide to end it. He'll be facing Yannick Noah, and we'll be alongside with him on USA right after this match.
Yes, sir.
Hits it long. The crowd was oohing and eyeing at the shot from Higueras that just did get over the net. Perhaps the fuzz on the ball nicked the tape. It was a close shot.
Now they change ends, Al, in the tiebreaker after 6 points. Higueras leading 4-2. There should be no break. They're supposed to go from one end to the other without stopping. Let's see what Connors does. Walk straight on through. He'll bring his towel with him. Oh, he stops and has a swig of water. They're trying to hold the crowd back from coming onto the court. It would be a terrible time right now if they were let those people pour in, because we're still alive here. 2-4. Connors to serve. The 13-point tiebreaker. First to 7 must win by a margin of 2. And the set is theirs. Good. Saw Jimmy Arias watching a moment ago. You wonder who he would prefer to play in tomorrow's finals, were he to get by Yannick Noah later today, the second semifinals. I would think he'd like a crack at Connors, actually, because Higueras will make him work much harder. Connors will be a bigger win if he could play well. Nothing to lose if he played Jimmy. That ball was called out.
I think it was too.
Wait.
No, it was not. It's 5-3 to Higueras.
It sounded like an out call. There was somebody yelled from down here, but the lineswoman on that far side gave it a safe call immediately.
Well, that really is a big turnaround. 5-3 to Higueras. We thought it was 4-all.
Low slicing backhands from Higueras seem to be giving Connors a little bit of a problem. Now, as Connors will serve, Higueras is only 1 point from the set.
He's got 3 consecutive set points. 3-6. Play by Higueras, went with the lob off the left-handed backhand of Connors, and then he opened the court up with a forehand. He's got the first set, 7-6.
Well, Connors knew he was in for a battle when he took the court against this man. Patience prevailing again. Higueras taking the first 7-6 in 4-hour local and tennis club. Al Troutwig and Donald Dell upstairs. Barry McKay downstairs at courtside. Connors letting Higueras back into the set, and Higueras just found the strokes when he needed them. Connors faltering a little bit down the stretch of the first set, and down. Higueras, a little finesse.
Let's watch Higueras. That draw back, slice backhand there. He comes through the ball nicely. Good footwork, great position there. Underspin for control, always on his toes. Gets in nicely with that little drop shot, and he won the point off that rally. Perfect touch.
I've always felt that our commentary going into space has been a major reason that no aliens have ever landed on the planet. They hear what's going on down here and they're afraid.
Take a look here and see in the first set, winners 12 to Connors, 10 to Higueras, but look at those errors. 32 unforced errors by Connors, only 24 to Higueras, and that's the margin. 8 more in a tiebreaker like that would be the difference. Unforced errors, 15 all. It's wide. And Jimmy Connors is struggling and battling the defending champion here in the Congolium Classic. Higueras won this title last year. Barry McKay, we talk about mental toughness. Playing Higueras, he wears you down. He makes you careless and with fatigue.
Well, Connors came across after that first set, Donald, got his usual racket, put the water on it, toweled off, looked to me like he is settling in for a long match here. You have to think that way, and you got to be really tough, as you mentioned, because you're not going to see too many errors coming from Higueras.
a chance and caught that ball. Linesman finally responded out. First game of the second set, 30-all.
That base linesman over there, the last time he made a close call, he put his hands down in a safe position, and he yelled out. So he sort of contradicted himself. Then after he yelled out, he changed his arm position. But everybody looked at him as if to say, what are you saying out for? You're motioning safe.
Game, Connors.
And that's a big start for Connors to win the opening game here in the second set. He's got to start quickly and gain some confidence back.
And maybe he's the right shots. Won it in a tiebreak. Now on serve in the second set. Higueras steps to the baseline.
Quiet, please, ladies and gentlemen.
They began playing tennis here at La Quinta on a yearly basis in 1974. Up until today, Jimmy Connors has been able to win here twice, 76 and 82. We have two former champions here on the court right now.
Connors starting to attack a little more, but he overhit. He's hitting the ball pretty solidly. You often wonder what Higueras would be like as a player if he had a big first serve with could go for some winning aces. Occasionally come in the net behind it. Basically just puts the serve in play. And Connors swings that forehand sharply. Watch here on the left-handed side how he catches the ball early. He pounds it. Look at this. He sets up, gets that right hand out in front. Look at him leap off the cement. He doesn't follow the textbook. He puts every bit of extra height into the shot by jumping. Out called.
15-30.
Higueras there looking a little fatigued. Not much, but just a little for him. The ad that said, "I'll walk a mile for a camel." Higueras will run for hours for a match. It's his trademark.
Is the match to light the camel?
Oh, Connors missed it. Good lob by Higueras. Now watch Higueras here, running with the forehand grip. Comes back and just hits a little underspin with slice. Look at that body control. Hit a good shot over Jimmy's head. We're at 1-love to Connors, 30-all. was a great rally by Connors. He hit 2 consecutive balls very deep and very well placed. You're going to see it here.
Just on the line.
That was a great rally by Connors. He hit 2 consecutive balls very deep and very well placed. You're going to see it here again. Here he comes. Look at that depth. Higueras with the lob, and it carries just over the baseline. Game point for Connors for 2-love, and this is an important opportunity.
Quiet, please.
And Connors has snuck ahead here. 2-love on a break.
Donald, if you were to take the skills, the individual skills from the greatest players of all time, the best backhand, the best serve, the best temperament, to create the greatest tennis player, would any of the skills of these 2 players be a part of that super tennis player?
Well, I think certainly Connors' 2-handed backhand now would be. His tremendous competitiveness and zest for the game. I mean, he loves to play. Barry said a moment ago, you know, he looks like he's settled in for a long match. And I think that's right. Connors comes to play every night. I've compared him several times to Moses Malone in pro basketball. He uses the phrase, "I like to grind it out." Now there's an argument on that baseline.
Gene Herrick called it, Donald. That linesman did not call the ball at all.
The chair umpire called it.
Correct.
Connors won't like that. On the other hand, Higueras, I don't think, Al, to answer your question, would have a quality, except it might be tremendous determination and patience. He is an unusual one there, but I think Borg would have been even more superior in mental discipline. Higueras, very disciplined. Borg had more equipment. He could do more to hurt you quicker, bigger shots, but they both had great discipline. That was Borg's trademark, and the 2-hander.
Second serve.
Look at this depth.
Connors seems a little tired at the end of that point.
He is a little tired, a little winded. He played that point well. Goes down the line there. Great depth. Higueras saves it, spins around, the ball's short, and now look at Connors. Plays behind him, lays it in there. Taking no chances. We're at 30 all. Second set. Higueras won the first in a tiebreaker, 7-3.
But that's what makes Higueras so tough, those kind of points. Look how hard Connors had to work just for that 1 point.
He had to hit about 3 shots, Barry, to win the point.
That's right, and great shots at that.
touch.
30-15.
All right, here comes Jimmy. Pretty good depth. Higueras goes right down the middle. Jimmy hits that little underspin drop shot. Higueras has conceded. Now watch it from a different angle. Look at him lay into the topspin. Great weight, movement in quickly. Now watch the touch shot. Reminds you of John Patrick McEnroe, that left-handed drop volley. He owns the court. Connors getting stronger. He goes to 40-15.
Speaking of McEnroe, this week in Australia, he finally figured out how to beat Mats Wilander. Something he was unable to do the entire year of '83. And he took Wilander, I believe the scores were 2-2 and 2. Either way, it was a very, very decisive match. And McEnroe says he's playing better now than he's ever played before.
Connors having a little fun yelling, "What are you doing hitting a winner like that?" He really nailed this backhand. Beautiful shot. Look at Jimmy. There's the ball cross court. Now Jose's got him on the string. Watch this.
He says, I don't have any more weight to lose.
And this is the difference in Connors' approach to the game. He's enjoying it more. The struggle continues. 40-30, 2-love. He lost the first in a tiebreaker. It's on the line. Oh! Connors angles it off with a topspin two-hander for 3-love.
So Higueras with a big winner. Connors laughing and got himself immediately back into the match and laced one of his own. 3-love for him.
I got to think about that a little bit.
All right.
Notice I said third set. That's a Freudian slip. Higueras could still win this in straights. Love 3. Sure glad you're occupied up here, Al, with all sorts of curiosities.
I'm sitting next to one of the larger ones. Connors, 3-love, second set.
15-love to the server.
We've gone through different spells in this match. Spells when Higueras can't seem to hit the shot he wants. Spells when Connors can't. And then spells when it's the opposite, when they can't.
So far in this match, Higueras has 27 errors off the backhand side, 13 off the forehand. It's quite a lot for this stage of the match. Yet he's won the first set. One thing that's happening here, Connors is starting to hit out more on his shots. He's pounding that ball a lot harder from the baseline. Difference a point will make in this match at a particular time. Connors can go up 4-love now. And I think then Higueras will try to pace himself for the third set if he loses this game. Another winner. Jimmy hitting off both sides a lot harder. He nailed that backhand. Got it early and hit it hard. Watch it. Good depth there. Backs him up. Gets a short ball and he just explodes it. For 4 games to love. And Connors looking suddenly much more confident. Running forehand, hooks around and drops on the line. Here comes Connors. He opens the court with the volley. It's a little short. Higueras had one play there and only one, but he made the winner. The forehand down the line. Love 15. Higueras a little tired, Barry McKay, when he moved to his right.
He's definitely feeling it now, Donald. He's had to work as hard as Jimmy for every point. That's the only flip side of that deal I was talking about earlier. It's tough to play against Higueras, but when you're playing against a Connors, you virtually have the same situation.
Out again.
You know what I wanted to ask you, Donald? Jimmy Connors uses a racket that's no longer in production, and therefore he doesn't get any endorsement money for it. How much does that cost him to use that racket a year?
Well, it's hard to say. He just signed a new long-term agreement with Wilson, and he's developing a new mid-size racket with him that will replace the one he's using right now. It just depends on when he has enough time to play test it and they perfect it to his specifications, but that's coming in the next few months. Of course, he would use that W on the strings all the time, which is good advertising. 30-all, 4-love. That error may cost him this game, 30-40. Connors with a good first serve, gets to deuce. Great shot by Higueras. Jimmy tried to play behind him. Higueras did not move with the fake. You're going to watch this because it's good footwork on Higueras. He's out of court there. Now watch this. He fakes to his right, goes right back to the same spot. Jimmy tried to wrong foot him, guessed wrong, and Higueras played it perfectly.
The sun now is dipped behind a big cloud overhead. It'll be back. Love. Dink.
Scoreboard is wrong.
I said 40 love. It's way off. Deuce. Sorry.
It's a good match, Al. We're at deuce, 4-love. Connors lost the first set. It is really getting colder now with that sun going down. On the line. And he really mishit that one completely. The ball bounced into his chest and he didn't move his feet. Barry McKay, I gotta believe that Higueras is slightly tired. He hit that last one flat-footed.
He's definitely fatigued, Don. You can see him. He's having trouble catching his breath in between points. And I think mentally he's thinking third set already here.
Well, it's his first tournament of the year.
And Connors has a 5-love lead. Beautiful two-handed. You know, it's almost like somebody said to him after the first set, start hitting out. Start attacking from the baseline.
5-love, Connors leads. Let's go courtside to Barry McKay.
All right, well, I'm here with one of the better tennis players in the celebrity group, Andy Williams.
What he'll have to do to get back in it. Love 5, he's serving.
Higueras will get it, and does. And Connors clowning it up a little bit because he's mad the way he hit that drop shot, and he figures Higueras is not going to try too hard for this game. Here's the replays out of court. Higueras goes with the drop shot to move him around. Here comes Jimmy with the return drop shot, but it's not very effective. Bounces high out, and Higueras lays it cross court. You'd have to think at this stage, Al, that Higueras is not going to try too hard for this set and get into the third fresh, if he can.
Well, he doesn't want to waste any energy trying to come back in this set. Down by 5. Mentioned before, Higueras in his 5-hour, 6-minute match. Our tournament director here is Charlie Passerell. Charlie played with Ron Holmberg in 1968 against Mark Cox and Robert Wilson in the U.S. Indoor Championships in Maryland, and they played a doubles match that lasted 6 hours and 23 minutes.
You know, Al, speaking of long matches, Higueras had a 59-day match against Jose Luis Clerc when he came all the way back to play for about 7 minutes.
It was against Yvonne Lendl.
Lendl, was it?
Volvo International 2 years ago. Speaking of Charlie Passerell, he played the longest match in the history of Wimbledon against Pancho Gonzalez and lost in 5 sets. And Charlie reminded Pancho of that last night at a memorial dinner honoring Pancho as the selected former great this year by the Congolian Classic. Byron Radiker, Eddie Nicholson, the chairman and president of that company. Have a nice dinner for their former champion every year. They've selected Ellie Vines, Jack Kramer, Tony Traber, and last night, Pancho Gonzalez. Now Connors moves to set point for a 6-love set.
It's a tired-looking shot from Higueras.
I think, Al, he's just trying to pace himself now, get into the third set with not too much energy expended. Set point to Connors. And there he's got it by a surprising score of 6 games to love.
6 games to love. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your seats. Please wait till the odd game change. Play is continuous.
Well, now we'll see if Higueras was easing off down the stretch of that second set to save himself a little for the third and deciding set, which is what we're getting set to watch. Remember, Yannick Noah and Jimmy Arias, and what could be a beauty right after
Connors
this
to
one.
serve. Final set.
Connors looks like the one who's charged up as the third set gets
15
underway.
Watch the first point here. Higueras a little slow moving to his right. And look at Jimmy swoop it deep into the corner. We'll see it again. Comes under it, leaves the ground with that forehand topspin. Comes in quickly from a different angle. Lays it down for a winner.
30 love.
I don't know whether Higueras, Barry, is just really tired or just getting careless. But he's sprinkling errors.
He's definitely tired, Donald, but I think he'll settle down here in this third set. First game, Jimmy's serving. I think he's going to start concentrating here on his own serve.
40 love.
You don't want to let Connors get in front of you here in the third. He will smell it. He's so determined. Let fault. Outside. Connors wins the opening game at love.
Final set.
Springer.
Change the ball.
And there's Tony Trabert, the former Davis Cup captain, Davis Cup champion, and CBS commentator at the U.S. Open.
We know where Tony Trabert will be in September. He'll be in New York, and we will be there too on USA Sports. Exciting announcement. We'll be telling you about it in between matches.
You're going to New York now?
Yeah.
Big Apple.
Higueras with that one from his toes. That's really confused. Love 15. Looking good, putting it away.
Watch Jimmy coming in quickly. Gets that low volley, plays behind Higueras on the line, good. The lob a little short, and Jimmy pounding the backhand side of Jose. He's attacking on every ball. to the backhand side when he has a choice. Love 30. Ace. Great slice from the forehand side there on the deuce court. Coming up, we see Connors at an incredible 79% of his first serves. Higueras has dropped down to 58%. But he served his third ace for 15 love. Excuse me, for 15-30. He has got to win this game, or Connors can move ahead 3 love with his holding his serve. There's the forehand that occasionally goes off. Careless error.
Jimmy Connors is going to towel off. Okay, Donald, we already established a golden set is one in which you win every single point.
Well, I got to tell you, it was either Ivan Lendl or Harold Solomon who won the set without losing a point, but I haven't a clue who they beat.
Okay. Wait for the point.
Connors a little lucky. Moves to 30-40. He can get a big jump here at 2 love. He wins this point.
Barry McKay, do you have any idea who the only player is to win a golden set?
It's a real toughie, Al. It really is. I can think of Ken Rosewall. But,
he says it so smugly, Barry, as he's looking at the record book up here, tucked under his arm. Game point to Connors. He's got it. Perfect shot off the second approach. And now Connors has won 8 consecutive games. Watch it here. Higueras trying to probe. That ball is short, right at the service line, and Jimmy nails it. Now watch Connors reacting here. He sees the ball coming in short. Look at the lean, the shoulder. Classic, perfect shot with the roll. Pushes off the right foot. Great camera work by Bruce Troy and his crew. There's a nice angle on that two-handed backhand that Connors has made so famous.
First serve.
The player to win the golden set was Bill Scanlon last year in Delray Beach over Hakovar.
Who?
Marcos Hakovar.
Didn't even know there was a tournament in Delray Beach. Must have been a snorkel outing.
15 love.
And according to Tennis Magazine, that's the only time that it has happened in the open era of tennis. Hard to believe, but true.
Now Connors is moving on top. Wants to get a lot of distance between him and Higueras. 2 love, 15 love.
Connors letting out a yelp after that shot. It had a little extra zip on it.
Nowadays, I'm happy to get there.
All. Connors has won 8 straight games from Higueras. Connors over $5 million. First time a man had ever done that. Interestingly enough, though, Martina Navratilova has won more money than him.
And the grunting and the groaning you're listening to is Connors. But he keeps hitting winners.
30-15.
Now watch the approach. Here's the forehand. Comes in off the wrong foot there. but has the roll, the little topspin, runs with the forehand volley, tries to keep the racket well in front, and he makes the volley winner. 30-15. And he holds here. He goes up 3-love for 9 consecutive games. And Higueras has got to be really punchy right now, wondering what to do to change this trend.
Higueras stretching out those leg muscles a little bit. 30-all.
Temperature down here, guys, all of a sudden, I'd say has dropped down. Well, it's gone up about 10 degrees in the last 5 minutes because the sun is out very bright. And so there's a whole different atmosphere than there was 10 minutes ago.
It's an important game, Barry, for Connors. He doesn't want to get sloppy and lose it because Higueras is so tough if you let him in. Game point. That forehand where Connors feels he doesn't get his right hip down low enough. That's why he's mocking himself. We're at the semifinals of the Congolium Classic at La Quinta, a suburb of Palm Springs. And what a glorious surrounding here, that the stadium that Charlie Passerelle built. And he is proud indeed. This accomplishment and this great event. Over the baseline. Now, this is the kind of game, Barry McKay, that Jimmy can't afford. A sloppy, careless point there. That's how Higueras sneaks up on you.
Well, that's so true, Donald. Higueras looks tired, and he sort of, as Al mentioned, looks a little disoriented. But I'll tell you something, he's not. He knows exactly what he's doing. And if he wins this game, break serve, yep, basically a brand new match.
Exactly right. Advantage Higueras. Good serve by Connors. Slides him wide. What would you tell Jose Higueras to do here, Barry?
Well, I tell him to keep trying to keep that ball in play and maybe just take one chance. He hasn't come up to net very much at all, Donald. So if he could take a short ball, surprise Jimmy a little bit, I think that would be a good play at this point. Connors on that last serve hit a McEnroe type serve. Best serve he's hit in the entire match. He really swung him out wide.
We're deuce. Connors didn't come through on that forehand. He stopped his swing and the ball went wide. Let him off the hook there. Higueras holds his hands up. He finally won a game after losing 8 in a row, but that was a big one.
That's one of the most frustrating things about playing Jose Higueras. Just when you think he's tired and that he's out of the match, he's back in it.
It's big with donor rackets. Control on power serves. Control for precise volleys. Control on winning ground strokes. I have already won big with Donay. Now it's your turn. Take a new Donay to your next game and take control.
See the new Donay Graphite Pros, where you shop.
We've seen so far the numbers established by Higueras and Connors. Tight one in the first set. Higueras coming back to win it eventually in the tiebreaker. Connors acing him in the second, however. 6-love, then winning 2 more in the third for 8 straight games. But then the service break against Connors, and that could hurt him because Higueras now right back in it.
Now has a big opening here. He's on back on serve at 1-2. He wants to hold. Let's see how Connors plays it. Barry McKay said a game ago, Higueras may look tired, but he knows exactly what he's doing. He's pacing himself, and he's not tired.
What a get that was.
Now Connors is missing his shots just a little. Going for him, but missing. 15-love. Good overhead by Connors.
15 all.
15 all. Let's see it again, Jimmy. Always attacking when he gets that short high ball. Good high lob, but a better overhead. Number 15 all. There he is, James Scott Connors. Decided to play Davis Cup for America. He will journey to Bucharest next week with Jimmy Arias, Peter Fleming, and John McEnroe. And the American team captain, Arthur Ashe.
30-15.
Bill Norris and Dr. Omar Fareed are already over in Bucharest making the arrangements, preparing everything for the American team's visit.
And when they announced Jimmy Connors before this match and they mentioned the Davis Cup, he got a real big round of applause from the crowd, I guess echoing the sentiments of tennis fans around this country to get that cup back. I think he could be a big part of that.
Let first serve. 30-15 to Higueras. Great save. Off balance, he hits the drop volley. He did it the hard way. That's a very short ball. His approach is short. Now look at Jimmy dive. He cups it, pushes off the cement with his right hand. And we're at 30 all. With a nice little slider on the line in the forehand court. Crowd yelling encouragement to Higueras.
Taking it, a biggie for Higgy. 2-all now, third set.
And now Higueras has really fought back well here. It's a horse race again, 2-all. Connors had won 8 consecutive games, had a point for 3-love. But as is Higueras' trademark, he just keeps scrambling, keep fighting, and sneaks back in at 2-all.
Guys, our courtside meteorologist, Julie Copeland, has just given me an 81-degree estimate down here, and she should know. She lives here year-round.
Kay sounds like your local weatherman. You know, we get these temperature reports. 15-love. Connors better tend to his knitting and hold serve here, or it's another whole ball game. Great drop volley. He opens the court up, and then he just dinks the little drop volley. Look at Jimmy. Comes in, high follow through, body weight always running towards the net. And look at that ball nestled out in front. Secret to the volley is to keep the ball in front of you. And he did it perfectly there. Great camera angle. Outside.
40-love.
First set to Higueras in the tiebreaker. Second set, a love set for Connors. Games of 2-all. Third set, Connors 40-love.
All good on the far sideline. Connors holds.
Connors holds, and the third set scoreboard says it's his lead. 3 as the 1984 Congolium Classic continues. Higueras will be serving 2-3.
He's mad because he missed a second serve there. He didn't have to make that shot. Floated out. Wide. Connors still going for his shots, but barely missing.
You know something, this is a crucial game for Higueras, because if he can win this game easily, gets a little bit of a rest on, and then we come to that big 7th game, gives him a chance to really dig in and give Jimmy a lot of trouble on his own serve. If he can win this game fairly easily, but it's only 30-love.
And it sort of gives him confidence, Barry, to win it easily. You know, he feels he's got his second win when that happens. It's all psychological with Jose. Let. Perfect ace down the center. Boy, that's a surprise. Higueras doesn't hit many aces. His 4th of the match. Another one. Number 5, and we're at 3 games all.
Well, how about that?
And he did win the game easily at love.
Exactly. Boy, I'll bet he loved that, because serving aces is a lot less fatiguing than playing 8 or 9 shots when you got to change directions and scrap around out there. That could really help him.
How rare it is that Jose Higueras wins a point without a long rally preceding it.
Well, how about 2 aces back to back?
Oh, we are at 3-all.
Just wide. Here's hit that early. Missed hit it.
On a sneaker squeaking out there. Well, when this match began, we said, settle down. It seems like it could be a long one. And it is.
Errors are starting to flow from the racket of Connors.
Does he seem concerned with you at ending the points a little earlier now than he was before?
Well, no, not so much, but he got so confident there when he won 8 games in a row. And now he's got to work his way back into a fever pitch intensity. That's when he plays best, when he's really intense. A little careless here. Higueras is back in the match. There's another error. Connor's going to take a lot of time here. He'll take the full 30 seconds to get control of himself.
Looks a little winded from down here, Donnelly. It's the first time I've seen Jimmy sort of catch his breath, and I think he's feeling the heat and feeling that ball coming back so much from Higueras after over 3 sets.
Higueras very unlucky there. He had a passing shot that might have been a winner, and it hit the top of the net. Now watch this again, because this would have been 15-40 had it not hit the net. He goes right down the line, and Jimmy was conceding it. The ball hits the top of the net and sits there waiting to be struck. Three all, 30 all, 1 set all. No one is winning this match right now. It's dead even. Rally. Connor's working his way into the net. Here he comes. Got that short ball, and he pulverizes it. Now watch Jimmy. Racket back high, jumps at it, finishes over his shoulder with a little topspin. Has the almost Western grip as he comes in again. And there he really uses his body weight into the shot. 40-30. Someone in the front boxes who talking loudly. It's a heck of a big point. 7th game, 3 all, 40-30. went for the winner down the center, and it's a let fault. He was nailing that first serve. Called out. I don't believe it. It was called out. Late call.
Game, Connor.
And Higueras didn't hear the call. The linesman actually never yelled out. He just waved his arm.
Higueras turned his back, Donald, as if he had won the point. Thought for sure he'd won the point.
Gene Herrick says it was wide. A stunned Higueras looks at the other end of the court, but he won't be getting any answers there. Al Troutwig and Donald Dell, we're up in the booth, and Barry McKay is at courtside. Barry, what's going on there?
Jose came around, Al, and said to Gene Herrick, nice goal, and he was sort of sarcastic, as if to say that ball was definitely good. He just went over and looked at it and changed his mind and said it was a good call.
So much, the grunting and the groaning, the lunging of Jimmy Connors. Watch it again. He hits one volley. Higueras has another play. Connors saves it with a cross-court volley. Higueras tries the dink, and Jimmy is there. Now watch him. He punches that second volley. He lunges to save it. Now he gets recovery, comes in, and attacks the third one.
Connors holding court once again.
Spectator yelled, "He'll never do that again, Jose." Jimmy looked up and said, "Oh, yes, I will."
Love 15.
That outburst, well, can't even call it an outburst. That conversation that Higueras had with the chair umpire Gene Herrick was about as big as an outburst as you'll see from this man.
Higueras starting to hit his first serve a little harder. Had two good serves this game, 30-15.
You know, you serve a couple of aces like that, and you say to yourself, hey, I ought to try that more often. I'm sure that's what Jose is thinking right now.
3-4, 30-15, a set all. Final set, the semifinals of the Congolian Classic. Two forehand errors by Connors, back to back. Connors made a good save off of a let court drop shot. It almost rolled over for a winner, but he recovered. 40-30. 25 forehand errors for Jimmy Connors in 3 sets. That means unforced errors. Higueras hitting a good first serve, caught Connors off balance, and we are at 4-all.
And we could be heading for tiebreaker territory if this keeps up. Don't forget, right after this, Jimmy Arias will bring his big forehand onto the court to face the acrobatic Yannick Noah in the second semifinal. 2 will move into tomorrow's finals. You can see that 12:30 on the West Coast, 3:30 on the East Coast. Live on USA tomorrow. We'll be back here.
First serve, he really sliced him wide, like a John McEnroe serve into that ad court. We're at 15-all, 4-all. Crowd is interesting. Al, they're really yelling each point now. 4 or 5 people yell out for each player.
5th U.S. Open title for Connors last year, and 4 others, finishing the year ranked number 3.
Barcelona snuck into the net there beautifully. Now watch this, because Connors is on the baseline, tries to hit a floating shot, gets some time, and look at Higueras. He pokes the backhand volley for a winner. Watch him come in, gets his shoulder into the shot, turns sideways, keeps the ball well in front of him, and makes the winner. 15-30. Connors in trouble. Guessing wrong, and Higueras with great depth off the baseline, 15-40. And that is Higueras' 21st winner in this match.
He still has plenty of energy left in that body of his. Double break point to Jose Higueras. Frustrated. Service break advantage for Jose Higueras. Is it Jimmy Connors just not at his best? Whatever it is, it's a tense moment now for James Scott Connors, 3rd set.
Well, I'll tell you one thing it is, Al, it's the high, slow bounce of this court that Higueras likes. He was down 2-love and point for 3-love in this set, and Connors would love to have that back.
Well, he's faced this situation so many times. A must-win game, and he'll take it 1 point at a time. Right about now, Yannick Noah and Jimmy Arias stretching their muscles a little bit. They'll be here at center court at La Quinta in just a little while for their semifinal match. Higueras, 4 points from the final. The defending champion here. Went for it. Charging into the net. Maybe that threw Higueras off a little bit.
You know, it's really interesting. This is where you see the competitiveness of Connors. When Higueras missed that first serve, Jimmy jumped up and down like, okay, let's get going now. Really climbed on that first point. Very important point.
Match is building here. The second point, more important. Miss it. And this crowd exploding as Connors had 2 volleys. He didn't put them away. Watch it here. 1. Higueras back down. Connors saves it a second. Look at Higueras. Threads the needle behind him. 15 all. Here comes Higueras. There you see the little roll as his wrist rotates.
Right after that, he cheered himself a little bit.
15 all. Attacking. When in doubt, hit out. And he did so well there. You're going to see Higueras a little late on this shot. Here comes Connors. Higueras gets his racket back late and the ball is sprayed wide. 15-40, 2 break points for 5 all.
Donald, I think he played the safe approach shot too. He hit cross court, which is for him a lot safer than that slice up the line.
Yeah, that slice gets him in trouble, Barry. He hits it wide a lot. 15-40. And Connors has done what he's done so well for so long. Broken serve at 5-4 down. And this crowd is loving it.
3 times in that game, Connors came charging towards the net, and 3 times Higueras just couldn't handle it. Slapped all 3 of the shots that he needed wide.
Here comes Jimmy with the forehand. Guides the ball not too deep. Higueras tries a very sharply angled roll, which is wide. Connors now serving it 5 all.
You know, we talk about competitiveness. 3 things in that game. Number 1, Connors getting that first point. Number 2, 15-30. He took a tremendous amount of time, slowed everything down, and then he played a fabulous last point to put that game away. That's really called competitiveness. That's where he's so great.
Connors muttering to himself, missing that first serve. He's unhappy momentarily. Connors made a great half volley and missed the second one. He wasn't ready. He had the wrong grip for that backhand volley. Forehand grip, the ball sails out. Love 30. And now he's in deep trouble. He will have to serve a few first balls in here. Get back. Trying to attack. He misses that forehand slider.
3 break points for Jose Higueras. Connors screaming to himself, geez, that's bad. And it was bad timing and a bad shot. Higueras is able to break Connors again. He will have another chance to serve for the match. Paddy Connors wondering whether she'll have the day off tomorrow or whether she'll be back for the final.
And he misses another forehand.
And move into the final for the second straight year. Connors having his serve broken in the love game.
Higueras has got to get a first serve in. The last time he lost his serve at love and missed 3 of them. Got to serve that first ball deep. Just get it in play. Just wide, very close, but quickly called. Love 15. And Connors may do it again. This crowd will explode if it goes into a tiebreaker. They'd love it. Fault called. I think Gene Herrick called a fault.
Second serve.
Yeah, he did. He overruled the linesman. Higueras is going to go nuts. Let's listen.
I'm questioning this guy. I don't know what's happening, you know. I'm not questioning the call at all. Okay?
Higueras is making his point. He's saying, why is Gene Herrick calling an overrule at this point in the match?
Yeah.
I'm not questioning whether it was good or out.
Half an hour to make the call. If he's out, make the call as well. Don't wait till he looks the last man. He marks the ball and he look at you and he everything.
Well, Jose is basically saying, just go ahead and make the call. He was mad about the delay from Gene Herrick, that's all.
Second serve, love 30. Same side linesman called it out. Higueras is steaming now. I thought that was a little out. What a change around. Love 40. There's the linesman on that far sideline.
Well, these are points of pressure, that's for sure. Triple break again for Connors. Higueras wants to know, why is this happening to him and why now? He has saved one.
I don't know whether our acoustics have been increased down there, but they seem to be hitting the ball a lot harder.
Yep.
Off the sound.
It does sound louder. No, the crowd is more into the match. How can you blame them? They've been watching these two for more than 3 hours now.
Connors has a chance to go into the tiebreaker here. If he wins either of the next 2 points, they're into 6-all.
We began before lunch here in the West Coast, and we're beginning to think about dinner. One more match to come after this. Noah Arias.
Let.
Still, Connors has 2 break points.
Fault called. And so we go into the roller coaster ride known as tiebreaker time. 13-point tiebreaker. First to 7 will win this match.
Quiet, please.
And boy, it is pressure city now for both players. Connors down 5-4 and 6-5, broke back twice. I said earlier, what would Higueras be with a first big serve? He could really hurt you with it. What an advantage he needs. Let for serve. Let cord drops over. Very, very fortunate for Connors.
Ball was very close to the line.
Close to my thing was, okay?
Gave me a safe signal.
You're making me so nervous, I don't know what I'm saying anymore, you know? I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Everybody shows the ball out by you. Everybody. Yeah.
That's play, gentlemen. 1-0.
It's a good point Higueras made there. He said, you're making me so nervous, I can't remember what to say. Let's see it again. Down the center.
Tough.
Complaining whether it was too long on the cross line. There's the let cord that, luckily for Connors, drops over.
It's really tough to tell.
From this angle, we have no chance. It's too high, far away.
From down here, guys, it looked like a fault. It looked like about 3 or 4 inches behind the service line.
0-1. Oh. What does he do? He hits a service ace. 1 point off.
Leading now 2-1 on the tiebreaker scoreboard. The winner to the final tomorrow.
3-1. Jimmy, with the mini break, has 2 serves to follow. He could go up 4-1 for a big edge here if he gets 2 good balls in. Tries a floater and floats it 5 yards over that baseline. Careless error. Lost control of that trajectory. We're in the final set, a tiebreaker. Remember, you must win by a margin of 2. The first to reach 7 can win the set and the match.
Time we had a 3rd set tiebreaker on USA. You? Jose certainly didn't need a 3rd set tiebreaker last year when he defeated Elliott Kelton for the title.
Now the reason for these errors, Al, are both players are trying so hard and are so nervous they're mishitting a little bit. Pressure is intense. $34,000 here in the first prize of the Congolium Classic. 2 points to 3. It's good. Connors lets it go. It slides wide, and he's up 4-2. He took a chance there. I thought he'd play that volley, but he let it go, and it was wide. Now watch right here. Good depth into the corner. He watches, starts to hit it, and lets it go instead, and it's barely wide. And now Higueras in trouble. 2-4.
Some chance for the hometown boy, Jose Higueras, who, as we told you earlier, is married to the daughter of the mayor of Palm Springs, Frank Bogert. What a strange course the life of the poor Spaniard has taken. Jose Higueras down 2-4.
Connors slipped when he made that approach shot off the short ball. He stumbled, and Higueras just nailed the backhand. Watch it here. Opens the court up nicely. Here's a short ball. Watch Connors after he hits this ball. He stumbles right there. He slips, and Higueras threads the needle for a perfect passing shot cross court.
Crowd pinned the needle on our audio system on that one. I'm not sure that this crowd can decide who they want to win. Jimmy Connors is always a big favorite, but here in this part of the country, Jose Higueras is very popular as well. Connors now serving 4-3. The first time in all the matches that these two have played that's gone the distance.
And Connors made a spectacular half volley. That was a good return by Higueras. Connors dumps it back deep on the baseline and makes the second volley. Watch this play here now. That's a tough volley just inside the line, and Connors at the net in control. but the half volley was what got him out of a hole. 5-3. Final set. Took a chance, came in on the first serve, Al. He hadn't done that in about 3 sets. Surprised him. Barry, that was a smart play by Connors.
Real smart, Donald. The ball was floating. He knew it right away. He almost went for it. You could just see him hesitate for 1 split second. Then he said, nope, I'm going to let it go. And the minute he did, he knew the ball was out.
But he really surprised Higueras by serving and coming in on the first ball. That was the strategy change-up. Now he's got 3 match points, but Higueras is serving. 3-6.
Every single time before this, it's been a straight set victory for one or the other. Not this time. Triple match point, Higueras and Connors.
Great serve by Higueras, and his racket handle came off. The butt of his frame has come loose.
It's that same racket again that he's had fixed once already during the match, but he's not going to have time to fix it now, that's for sure.
A darn good first serve.
Can you imagine Donald picking up
a brand new racket
at this particular point in the match?
And there's the racket handle. It's come apart. Higueras has 1 serve to go. 4-6 in the tiebreaker. It's match point again to Connors. And Jose will go for a first one. Fault. Now Jimmy will come in a little bit and try to intimidate. It's short, he'll jump all over it. Good depth. And he misses. Good second serve by Higueras. And now Connors stands at 6-5 for the 3rd match point, and he will serve. And watch how he changes the entire momentum of this match by toweling off. He's going to take a long time until he sets up to serve at 6-5. Very, very smart. And Barry McKay, do you think he'll serve and come in on this first ball?
I think he's going to go wide, Donald. He's been successful with that wide swinging serve. My guess is he'll go wide on the first one. If he gets a weak return, he'll be right in there to cut it off.
Let's see. Match point for the 3rd time. Higueras, the defending champion. He's got it. He slid him wide with the slice backhand, and Jimmy Connors has won the tiebreaker. 7 points to 5, and the match. 5-7, 6-love, 7-6. Quite a turnaround for Jimmy Connors, as Higueras, always competitive to the end, came right back after being down 2-love in the 3rd set. Connors has won it.
Standing ovation from the crowd here. Better than 7,000 in the middle of the desert in La Quinta, California, for Jimmy Connors, who will move into the final, looking for his 3rd title here at La Quinta in the '84 Congolian Classic. And who will he play? Will it be Jimmy Arias or will it be Yannick Noah? We'll see in just a few minutes, as those two are getting set to make their way onto center court here to play in the 2nd semifinal. There's the score. A long one, over 3 hours. Connors winning it 6-7, 6-love, 7-6. Let's go down to Barry McKay.
All right, well, I've got, I think, a pretty tired player on my hands, but Jimmy, great going. What really was the turning point in that match? Because it was so up and down.
Well, I served for the first set, Barry, and I actually had a couple set points, and I didn't play him badly. He played him well and went on and played a good tiebreaker, and he won the first set. After that, I don't think I missed a ball for about 9 games, and I was up 6-love, 2-love, and I had, I think, 30-love that game to go 3-love, and he crept back in there, and then we were in a good match again. But I think as far as it goes, I just hung in there and kept attacking and getting on the move, and I think that eventually paid off for me.
Jimmy, we talked about competitiveness. You're down 5-4 you know, for the match. You're down 6-5 right again, and yet you came back. It looks to me like you settle in a little bit on those big points. You take a little extra time. You won the first point at that 5-4 game, and you said, okay, I'm going to go for it now. What is it that really goes through your mind in those very big points?
Well, I'm not going to let up in any way, Barry. I'm going to stay in there, and that's my time to get in there and grind it out, and that's what I enjoy most about the game now. And not that I want to get down 5-4 and 6-5 all the time, but, you know, when it comes into that situation, I'm going to keep on the move and on the attack and make him beat me.
Jimmy, I said at the start here, you looked tired, and you said, no. How do you feel?
Well, that's a pretty good match for me as far as seeing what kind of shape I am in, Barry. And, you know, to go from indoors to outdoors in this situation, to have to run down a lot of balls and play under these conditions, I think it was very, very good for me, and I feel not too bad.
Any thoughts about tomorrow, either Arias or Noah?
I think I'll go home and relax for a little while and worry about that tomorrow.
All right, Jimmy, good luck.
Thanks, Barry.
All right, back up to you, Al.
Let's see the match point again. Now Connors spins him wide. Higueras tentatively bunts it down the line, but it's out by about 1.5 feet, and Connors has moved into the finals of the Congolian Classic with that first serve. Tremendous battle between these two players. There's the handshake. They respect each other greatly, and Higueras smiling. He's lost his title. Connors into the final.
Are you okay?